All right, it looks like we're live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics, and I have yet another two books that I want to recommend to you. These are not pre-orders. These are books that have been out for a while. They have been starting to see an increase in price. So I have a feeling, because this particular situation has not occurred yet, the price of these books will continue to go up. Now, as I always state, there are risks involved. There are no guarantees. So make sure you do your research. Please wait or try and make a deal. And if you think it gets too expensive, just say, oh, well, I missed on the opportunity, and pass it up, because there's always thousands of other comics you can find. So I am not the first to mention this. I know there are some viewers that like to point out if I'm not the exact first person, which I don't care. If I'm the first person for you, that's all that matters. But these are two comics I would highly recommend to get. And then I'm going to explain something afterwards, so it may be beneficial to stick around and not just see the comic and then go off and buy it. Anybody that does that is making a mistake, because if you don't know why you're buying it and you don't research the prices, you're going to way overpay, and then you're probably going to end up being more disappointed than you are happy. So while that is being said, don't forget to sign up for the cashback program. It's a program that I'm affiliated with, but no, I don't get paid to do it. Unless you sign up, I get a referral fee. That's it. I don't make an income or anything unless somebody signs up. But it's free to do. You sign up if you buy anything that's affiliated with their program and check restrictions, and you spend $25 or more within the first 90 days, you get a $10 cashback bonus. I get a one-time referral fee if you do that. So I always disclose that, so there's no secrecy or anything like that. So the link is in the description, in the live chat, and it will be pinned to the comment section of this video. Wait until the end if you want today's surprise subscriber shout out. If you want one, just ask for it, but put it in capital letters, otherwise I might gloss over it. And let's show you the books. And I will have another book I'm talking about tomorrow, which is, I believe, a pre-order. And speaking of pre-orders, if you go to Southside Comics, and the link is in the description, all the way down to the bottom, you'll see the website link and all the discount codes. The Three Jokers issue number 3 has just come out, so make sure you get those while you can. There are 2 regular covers and 3 premium covers, and I think they're only about $5.99 to $6.29 each. So go check them out and get those while you can, because it is a limited amount that they have available. All right, so without further ado, let's show the 2 comics. Okay, so what you're seeing here, and I'm going to explain why, and then I'm going to explain something I don't normally do, so it's going to pay to stick around. But these particular comics, the one on the left is Superman 81. The one on the right is the most important one. That's Action Comics number 689. Now, people will ask, well, why would both of these that have probably been in the dollar bin for decades all of a sudden worth something? Well, according to the rumors and according to what's going on with the Snyder Cut of the Justice League, there's going to be more scenes with Superman with his black suit. Now, people may or may not know, it's not just the costume design. Superman gets his powers. I mean, they've switched it over the history of the character, so I don't know if it's still exactly the same when they've rebooted 6,000 times. But at that time, Superman would get his powers mostly from our yellow sun. So when there were times where he would be energetically unable to be the superhero that he is, he concocted a black suit, which, you know, if you live like where I am in Florida or California or Arizona or somewhere hot, that you don't want to wear black because it absorbs heat. So he came up with a black suit to absorb the sun's energy quicker, getting him back to full power quicker. So there is actually a purpose to the black suit. Now, prices have gone up because of this. Now, have they reached their peak? That remains to be seen, because not everybody knows about this. So even if only one person that watches this all of a sudden realizes that this book is out there and gets it in time, then I feel it's worth mentioning. So regardless of when it comes out, it may be the first time for somebody that's watching right now. So 689, Action Comics number 689, which is the image on the right, that is the first appearance ever of the black suit. Now, That came out in July of 1993, where I was a total of 22 years old. And Action Comics 680, I'm sorry, Superman number 81 on the left, I believe is the first cover appearance of the black suit, and came out in September of 1993. So, what I'm showing, I actually have both of these books. I paid $30 for them, and they're newsstand variants. So the newsstand variants are probably going to get harder and harder to find, especially in higher grade. Now, here's the advice I'm going to give. So to the 13, actually now up to 17 people who hit the like button out of 49, thank you very much. That's a low ratio, but hey, you know, I can't please everybody. So the 17 people that were kind enough to hit the like button, thank you. I'm going to give you advice that I normally don't give. Okay? I am treating these two books like Thor number 390. Now, some of you may or may not know what Thor number 390 is, so I'm about to explain that. Thor 390 was a book I was warning people not to buy when it was hitting $80, $90, $100, up to $160. Because that was the first time that you see Captain America lift up Thor's hammer, which we all know at this point, I mean, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet, where in Endgame, Captain America lifts up Thor's hammer. You can buy that book now for under $10, and probably you would have nobody outbid you. I am recommending, in my own opinion, now this is my opinion, you don't have to listen, you don't have to agree, but I am viewing these two books just like Thor 390 because of the fact that these books are based on a particular scene in a movie or scenes in the movie that has not come out yet. So that means it still has upward rise to go. But once that movie comes out, this book is going to drop like a rock from your hand. So I normally do not recommend people sell their books or give a response other than sell when you think it's appropriate. But in my opinion, these two books have room still to rise. Again, it depends on what you pay for them. But I feel will drop once the Snyder clip cut or whatever they're doing. I don't know if it's a full movie or just adding different scenes or what are they doing. But as soon as the Snyder cut comes out, these books are going to drop. So in my opinion, if you have this book, I would wait a little bit before selling. But as soon as you see an official trailer saying the Snyder Cut is coming out, that might be the time to sell these. There will be plenty of buyers interested, but I think it will have reached near its peak, which means once the trailer's out, it still has a little room to grow. That's what's going to get buyers to come in. It's once it starts leveling out and starting going down is when you're not going to be able to sell them and you're going to be stuck with them. So that is my advice with these two books. You can probably find them in a dollar bin if there's any local comic stores still open at this point. I'm sure there are in some places. We're not allowed around here. But eBay, you're going to pay about $50 to $80 just for the one on the right. So, like I said, I made a deal. I contacted a seller, and I got both of these for what did I pay? Hold on. I paid $30, so $15 a piece, which I think is reasonable considering it has room to grow, and the fact that I bought them as newsstand variants, and they said they're in near mint condition, so we'll see when they arrive. But I think these do have some room to grow. Now, of course, I cannot guarantee that, and you always have to understand there are risks involved, but in my opinion, I think this has room to grow. And I would get rid of these as soon as the first trailer for the Snyder Cut arrives. Because like I said, I have a feeling this is a clone of Thor 390. It's only going to be valuable because of a certain scene in a movie. Once that scene in the movie is already played its course, nobody's going to care about this book again. It will probably go back into the dollar bin. So this is one of those times where it pays to have books that can be not valuable for decades. I mean, up until couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago at most, this was $1 book since 1993, maybe $2. So it shows sometimes when it comes to comic collecting, speculating, and I say it all the time, you have to play the long game, you have to have patience. Because if you bought this in 1993 and said, boy, I can't wait for this to be a $30, $40, $50, $60, $80, $100 book, well, you waited decades for it to get to the potential of that now. And there's a limited window of opportunity. This is one of those because of the fact that it's not a first appearance of a character, whether it be hero or villain. It's not an origin story. It's not a quote-unquote death, because nobody dies in the comics unless you're Uncle Ben. This is a situation based on a costume that is based on a movie that's coming out. Or, like I said, I don't know if they're doing a full movie or not. Anything can change. Or it could end up they decide, you know what, we don't want to put out the Snyder Cut because that disrespects Josh Whedon. Who knows? Anything can change. Keep that in mind. If that happens, this book is definitely going to sink even quicker. So you are taking a risk on this, but, you know, when you want to make a reward, sometimes you have to weigh the risk and reward. If you're not willing to take a risk, then you shouldn't be in speculation and investing, because there's tons of risks involved. You're going to lose sometimes. You're going to win sometimes. The more you know, the more you research, the more you trust your gut, the more you make deals and wait for deals instead of just buying the first one you see, the better chances of you succeeding more than failing. Because, trust me, there is no stockbroker out there that has a 100% ratio of being right. And if they do tell you that, they probably only sold one stock and got lucky the first time, or they're lying through their teeth. So, keep that in mind. As long as you know there are risks involved, as long as you're doing your research and checking these things out yourself, and as long as you're trying to make a deal and don't just buy the first one you see and then cry about overspending when it collapses, well, you should do pretty decent. So 35 people liked it out of the 54. Thank you very much. Let's do today's surprise subscriber shout out. We're going to go for Spider Max. I don't think I've seen your name before. He says, "Morning, Chris from Philly." So welcome. Love your cheesesteaks. Well, at least I used to. I don't eat meat anymore. But that is our surprise subscriber shout out. So please give him a shout out. Please hit that like button before you leave. It shows me that you guys appreciate my doing these videos. You may have known about this before, but like I said, if there's one person in here that did not think about this book or did not know about the significance, hey, I'm glad I did it. So if you're one of the people, Agu says, "I thumbed it down to keep you in your game." Well, if you did that, that's a pretty bad reason to do it, but you have the right to do it. But at least you're one of the few that were honest enough to say you thumbed it down. But if you're doing it for that reason, that's, in my opinion, a little disrespectful. But hey, to each their own. Alright, so we're ending it on a negative. It's okay. I still helped out somebody out there, and that's all that matters. So if you all want to thumb it down, by all means, have at it. You guys all